Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about different types of animal traits. We are going to be discussing the difference between inherited traits and learned traits. So let's get on with the video. So we're going to start off with some picture vocabulary on traits. You can stop the video so that you can look at these words more carefully. A trait, a single characteristic of something that helps to define it. Remember, I am going to be giving you several other vocabulary words so that you can pause the video and reflect on your vocabulary flashcards that you should be working on throughout the week. Our next vocabulary word is reproduction. Reproduction. The act of making copies of similar versions of something, or having a hen having little chicks, or a dog having little puppies, or your parent having you as a child. The next vocabulary word is adaptation. Adaptation means an inherited trait that becomes more common by helping individuals to have it to survive and reproduce. So animals adapt to different environments depending on where they are. We will elaborate more later in the video. Our next vocabulary word is offspring. Offspring. Offspring is the child of an offshoot from a parent or offshoot from a parent. Or the kids, just like I said, a puppy, a chick, basically any baby is an offspring. Our next vocabulary word that we're going to be going over is a learned behavior. Learned behavior is behavior that is acquired through experience. Behavior that is acquired through experience. So, as you can see, this picture of this dog right here, he is running through these sticks because he learned how to do that. It's a learned behavior. Our next vocabulary word is inherited. Inherited. Passed from parent to offspring during reproduction. Inherited. What you got from your parents. Something that you inherited from your parents. Remember to pause this video each time you see the vocabulary words so that you can catch up and actually understand each one of them. Now let's continue. So let's think about it. What color is your hair? Is it blonde? Is it brown? Is it black? So we're going to start with inherited traits. Inherited traits are traits that we get or inherit from our parents. Inherited traits are traits passed from parent to offspring through reproduction. Some characteristics are inherited from parent to offspring, while other characteristics are acquired or learned. Examples of inherited traits are things such as hair color, eye color, your skin color, whether our hair is curly or if it's straight, whether you have dimples or freckles or birthmarks, how tall are you, how short are you. There are so many examples, which we will be able to see in a couple of pictures in a little bit. So many inherited traits we get from our parents. Here are a couple of examples with animals. Looks and instincts are inherited traits. On the left picture, a tiger cub inherits its body shape, color, and instincts to eat meat, being a carnivore from its parents. On the other side, the instinct to hunt is also passed down from one generation to the next as an inherited trait. Now we're going to take a look at inherited behaviors. A behavior is a way of acting. Behaviors can be inherited too. These are actually called instincts. Many animals are born with instincts that help them survive. Humans also have inherited behaviors. For example, when the weather starts turning cold in the fall, some animals start to act different by instinct. Some animals prepare for this cold weather by moving to warmer climates. This is called migrating. For example, have you ever been outside during the fall and then you start seeing tons and tons of birds get on all the electricity lines outside, and they all like line up, and then out of a sudden they all just like fly away together? Well, these birds are getting ready for winter. Therefore, they are migrating to warmer climates in order for them to survive. They do this by instinct. This is a inherited behavior. Other animals, such as bears, start to eat a lot of food so that they could keep that all in, store it, so that they could hibernate in the winter. Hibernating is when the bear goes to sleep for all winter, and he is able to survive during this winter cold times because he has all this energy stored in him. That's why he ate so much in the fall, so that he could be prepared. This is a inherited behavior. This is what a bear uses to survive. A human example of an inherited behavior is a crying baby. Babies are born knowing how to cry. Another example of an animal is a bird hatching out of an egg. That is a inherited behavior or instinct. So when a bird is ready to be born, he's like, and then he's like, all right, I'm out. I am born. And I mean, he already knew how to do that because that behavior was inherited. He had the instinct to pick himself out of this egg so that he could be born into the world. Spiders are born knowing how to weave a web. So they are able to create their homes by instinct. So if you ever see a spider, they didn't go read a book to learn how to weave this web. They actually were born knowing how to do this. It is an inherited behavior. Remember, inherited behaviors are behaviors that an organism is already born with. Instincts, something that they just already know how to do. They did not learn, they just acted on it. They were born knowing how to do it. Their parents, they inherited from their parents. Inherited traits versus learned traits. On the left side, you see all these ducks. Yellow beaks, white feathers, quacking are inherited traits passed down from one generation of ducks to the next. On the right side, you see a student reading. Reading is a behavior that takes time to develop. To read is a learned trait or acquired trait. Now we're going to talk about learned behavior. Behavior that is learned but not inherited. So learned behaviors are behaviors that are learned by observing, experiencing, or practicing. For example, if you know how to do a cartwheel, that is because you practiced how to do it. You were not born day one and you were already doing cartwheels left or right. You could barely even walk. You had to learn how to do all these things before you could actually start practicing how to do a cartwheel. We learn many behaviors that help us every day. These behaviors include things such as brushing your teeth, making a sandwich, being polite to others, or even using an iPad. We learned how to do that. We were not born knowing how to do that. We learned how to do that. That is why it's called a learned behavior. Another behavior that we learned is things such as reading and writing. We learn how to do these by observing other individuals and practicing every day reading and writing. That's why we go to school, to learn. Everything we learn at school is a learned behavior. Reading, writing, math, science, all of that, we were not born knowing it. It is a learned behavior. We learned how to do it. So dancing is another example of a learned behavior. So is skateboarding, playing soccer, cheerleading, learning robotics, all of your extracurricular activities, those are all learned behaviors. We practice them every day in order for us to get better at that behavior. It's a learned behavior. We are learning it every day. So what's the difference between instinct and a learned behavior? Instinct lets a dog know whether it's thirsty or if it's hungry. However, a dog learns how to drink from a bowl of water. So here we are. I'm going to show you a couple of examples about my children. So here is one of my babies. His name is Lordy. As you can tell, he has green eyes. He inherited that from his parent. His fur is black. He inherited that from his parent. He was born with black fur because his parents probably had black fur. So here's another one of my babies. This is Toulouse. Toulouse has blue eyes. That means that he inherited these blue eyes from his parent. He also inherited his white fur from his parents. That means that probably his parents were white. So now I'm going to show you a learned behavior that my children did learn. A learned behavior that my cats learned were that when I come to this cabinet and I shake this bag, they run to me. And they learned that when I shake this bag, they are going to get some food. All right, so I'm just going to give them a little bit of food since I did take out the bag. And that is a learned behavior because they learned that every time I shake the bag, there's food coming up. Behavior that my cats learn is that they eat the food from this food bowl. Also learned how to drink water from this water fountain. As you can see, the cats are drinking the water from the water fountains because they learned how to do this. They were not born knowing how to do this. That's why this is a learned behavior. Okay, so now let's review. An inherited trait is a physical characteristic that is passed down from the parent to the baby. Like my cat, his eyes were blue. His parents probably passed down that inherited trait. And like Lordy, his eyes were green. His parents passed down that inherited trait of green eyes. And a behavior is a way of acting. Learned behaviors are not inherited, but they are learned from others. Such as my cats coming over to getting food when I shake the bag. Or them eating from the bowl when I put the food in there. They learn how to do that. Or the really cool water fountain, they learned how to drink from it. At first, they were a little bit scared, but they seem to really like using it now. I will post a clip on them using that water fountain. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys learned a lot. Please subscribe and like my videos. Keep up with your Google Classroom. Keep up with all the assignments for your teachers. And learning never stops. See you guys next time. Keep things bye. Say bye to Luz. Bye. Thanks for watching.